Yeah, we'd love to, Michael and Kelly. Unfortunately, we have some work to do, but not a bad assignment out here. In fact, it's been a mixed bag of weather right here. We've had a few rain showers come through. Things have cooled off. The winds have picked up, but it's shaping up to be a gorgeous sunset out here. Of course, a long night for the grounds crew as they're anticipating some rainfall later tonight. But bright and early tomorrow morning, 6:45, the first tee time, day one of the Honda Classic set for 2020, and it will be an interesting year. Of course, the weather will be spectacular with those cooler temperatures set to come in, and all eyes are on tomorrow. This will be day one, and the focus tomorrow are military men and women, and that focus even began today. Before the tournament got underway, the focus today on our military and their families. 24 women, both active duty and spouses of deployed military members, received gifts as part of Operation Shower. In fact, one of them, an Air Force reservist, was honored today. She is due in the beginning of April. She had a tough pregnancy and said today was a welcome relief.
Well, Jay, the Humane Society of St. Lucie County right now is in what the city of Port St. Lucie's mayor called a death spiral. They've been evicted from their Fort Pierce location. They're facing foreclosure here at their Port St. Lucie location. But shelter leadership telling the city tonight that with a little bit of help, they can work toward rebuilding their reputation.
Well, Michael, it started as a press conference looking like, to my photographer and I, more like a rock concert with all the lights, the music, and the fans. And there's good reason for this. It's the last time that you'll see the Chiefs and the 49ers underneath one roof before they come over here to Hard Rock Stadium. Take a look at this. We actually have rehearsal video. Yeah, I said it right. There's actually a rehearsal for all of this. Fans will hear directly from the head coaches and 10 players from each team. Attendees will also mingle with roving players at Marlins Park tonight. Now, also expect autograph signings and appearances by current Dolphins as well. And yes, you still have time to get down here. Take a listen.
Well, Jay and Ann, numerous agencies have all taken part in this search that's now spread across more than 146,000 square miles. It's roughly the size of the state of Montana. And for two families here in South Florida, it's reminiscent of a rough time they shared in 2015.
And this contract is effective August 1st through July 31st, 2020. I spoke to the police chief after that meeting. He tells me he's glad that his officers' jobs will now be secured and that his department will not be diminished in size. We're live tonight in Atlantis. Ryan Hughes, Fox 29 News.
It doesn't take long on the ground in Marsh Harbor to realize the enormity of a natural disaster and the trauma it left behind.
Everything was just being plucked up out of the road and tossed around.
The horror of one night for local Bahamians still fresh as they emerge each day from ruins in search of anything that resembles normalcy. Marsh Harbor sits lifeless and powerless. Two-story structures were reduced to one story. Others are a shell of their own. Vegetation is brown, and boats are blown miles inland from what was their anchor at a marina.
We never expected, for something like this to ever happen to, especially to Abaco. For most people, it's just, it's a total, completely nightmare, I should say. I keep pinching myself, thinking I'm going to wake up.
The destruction is so widespread in Marsh Harbor, it's hard to identify the hardest hit areas. This is one of them. It's called the Mud. It was a former Haitian village, and you can see what's left. Absolutely nothing. The economic hub of the Abaco is brought to a standstill, now idling in the intense heat where search and rescue teams comb through debris. People have been asked to simply leave, for there's nothing left. Private plane after private plane takes supplies in and survivors out, while the constant roar of rotors moves relief to affected areas. It is the beginning of an overwhelming effort that has no end date in sight. Yet for some, it's a sign of hope that tomorrow will be better than today.
Those of us who are able to, we should stay and help to rebuild. This is our home.
As Maurice Roisman walks through El Camino in Delray Beach, he says one thing is for sure. The restaurant is ahead of the curve when it comes to using recyclable products.
We've already been using, as long as I've been here, a cardboard container for all of our hot to-go items. Even to the point of little things like our straws. We use a biodegradable straw that's made from agave.
Earlier this month, the city of Delray Beach passed a resolution encouraging businesses to limit their polystyrene use. Commissioner Julie Casal says, think of foam cups, plates, and takeout containers, and there you go.
The EPA has stated that it can have serious impacts on human health, wildlife, and the aquatic environment. So it seems like a great place to start.
Kent Edwards is the sustainability officer for the city. He says polystyrene products can last hundreds of years in a landfill and is encouraging more businesses to get on board. Edwards says there's more alternatives to turn to.
Avocado seeds can be used in materials. You have birch as a tree, bamboo, even locally sourced sugarcane.
Roisman says using recyclable products at El Camino is the right thing to do.
We want to be right for the community. We want to be a good place to hang out, but also be responsible business people at the same time.
Commissioner Casal says another important component to the resolution is that the city will begin to negotiate a no polystyrene use in contracts with city vendors. In Delray Beach, Todd Wilson, WPTV News Channel 5. Their chance of freedom, they're for equality.
Don't shoot! Don't shoot!
And a chance for safety from the young and seasoned.
It's important to show how I feel about black people getting the treatment that they're getting from police.
I can't breathe! I can't breathe!
What started as a small crowd at the intersection of Butt and Glades Road grew and went on the move.
It affects every single person. We are out here, I'm standing with people of color.
Eventually, the crowd approached a line of troopers in what would become a powerful moment for everyone involved. A true moment of coming together as both sides knelt together, began a dialogue.
Main thing is, we want to keep you safe. I cannot have you get on this interstate.
We want you to feel our pain. We are tired.
Understanding in the middle of a Boca Raton roadway.
At the end of the day, all lives do matter, but black lives do matter as well.
I was scared for my family because you don't know what's going to happen.
Diana Ortero is in shock that someone would steal a package off her porch.
It's not the matter that you take something valuable, but just the issue that you're having someone that you don't know in front of your door.
Palm Springs police say the woman was caught on a Ring camera. Investigators say she was seen stealing the package right off the porch Tuesday around 12:30. She was last seen pushing a baby stroller with other packages south on Cayman Drive toward 10th Avenue. Ortero says she was home at the time of the theft and had been waiting on the package from Amazon.
Since that person from Amazon didn't ring the bell when he came, that's why I didn't notice that the package was outside. So that lady came, I think, like 5 or 6 minutes later.
The Ring camera took a clear picture of the woman. Ortero says it's the first time she's seen the lady in the neighborhood. She says the police are on top of the situation.
They are doing a good job because they have been talking to me and they are really worried about the situation.
In Palm Springs, Todd Wilson, WPTV News Channel 5.
We were afraid that we were going to lose the business.
Lara Walsh-Vento and her husband say the only thing that saved their food truck business, the Crazy Cuban, are neighborhoods like this.
It's been fantastic. They've saved us. We've had a couple real loyal communities that have us out every couple weeks, and it's just been wonderful.
Food trucks, left out by canceled fairs and no more business lunch crowds, are finding a new business model in subdivisions. The Heights of Jupiter has been inviting food trucks since April.
Tuesday through Sunday, basically, if the trucks want to come, they come. We're booked out through November.
In Lake Worth Beach, Sal Accardi's food truck is the Waffle Wagon.
Chicken marinated 24 hours in buttermilk, 17 different spices.
On this Friday evening, he was serving dinners in a community out along 441, and he says he's booked for business like this into December.
It definitely got a lot busier. I mean, families are really liking this a lot better where they can just take it home.
And in a world where the virus has changed so much, this change is welcome.
I appreciate having them here. It gives my wife a break and we get a chance to do something different without having to go out to a restaurant.
On nights like this, food truck owners say they can sell up to 200 orders a night, and some owners think that even after the pandemic ends, they'll still be coming into neighborhoods just like this. In Jupiter, Matt Cisney, WPTV, News Channel 5.
The vehicle was in the driveway. It reversed out of the driveway where it did strike the two pedestrians.
Officer Daniel Dillard of the West Palm Beach Police Department is describing a deadly hit and run he says began at this house. Officer Dillard says the driver of the silver Honda Odyssey was reckless, trying to get away from the deadly scene.
Somehow turned in a U-turn fashion while in reverse, striking the black Honda Accord you see here, pulled forward into the yard of this residence here, where it got lodged on top of the bushes.
This all went down just after 3 this afternoon near the intersection of 37th Street and Pinewood Avenue in West Palm Beach. The pregnant woman and a toddler who were hit were taken to St. Mary's Hospital. Investigators say the woman died, but her baby and the toddler survived. That toddler is said to be in critical condition.
They might have it.
Where is it?
33rd.
While doing an interview with me, Officer Dillard is informed the Honda Odyssey is located a few blocks away. Several squad cars drive off quickly and stop at this yellow house. The folks inside are questioned and the minivan is searched. Neighbors flock to the scene. Cheryl says she just heard the woman died in the hit and run.
It's bad. Sorry for the kids, the family.
Well, as you can see behind me here, there are still a number of officers that are here on the scene where the vehicle was found. Now, I was told that that vehicle will be towed this evening. And when it comes to the woman that is accused of running over a pregnant woman and a toddler, I was told by an officer she's nowhere to be found for now. In West Palm Beach, Todd Wilson, WPTV News Channel 5. Mateo's restaurant in Boca is open and thriving during this pandemic. Owner Peter Kramer says everyone that walks through the doors is kith and kin.
It's a family-style restaurant, and we preach family. So they come in here and we treat them like family.
Kramer has taken the necessary precautions to make sure his customers are safe coming in to dine. Recently, he's gone even further by joining a citywide initiative called Ready, Steady, Boca.
And it's a way of getting the customers back out, knowing that they're in a safe environment. My entire staff wears gloves and masks all the time. We use paper menus. We use them once, rip them up, and throw them out.
Where we're asking residents and businesses both to take a pledge and help do the little things to make sure that our reopening progress doesn't stop, that we keep moving forward, and that we promote the community and safety, the health of everybody here in our community.
Thompson says just go on the city website to check out the pledge.
You would pledge to do the basics when it comes to CDC guidelines, like wear a mask, wash your hands often, you avoid crowded spaces, you avoid confined spaces, that kind of thing. You agree to treat people with kindness and respect.
If a business takes this pledge, they get a seal of approval from the city, and
they'll also be listed on the city's website as being one of a number of organizations that have stepped forward and wanted to help the city in this way.
Kramer says this matters to him because everyone has a part in moving Boca forward. In Boca Raton, Todd Wilson, WPTV News Channel 5. Benjamin Peterson just walked out of Costco. He's staying ahead of the storm, filling the back of his truck with essentials to wait out what may be on the way.
We got water, lettuce, some cereal, cheese, coffee, just some bare essentials.
He's a bit nervous for what's on the way.
Every season you get a little bit nervous, and you always have that chance of whether or not the storm is actually going to come and if it's going to bring the full force with it.
On the other end of the spectrum, Alan Hess wasn't prepared to wait for the stream of crowds.
But it's not necessary to pay $400 to put up my shutters. It's not necessary to panic and go buying plywood or whatever else. So why bother?
Hess was heading into Costco, but eventually turned around and left. That isn't the case at this BJ's gas station in Boynton Beach. Cars are lined up as drivers wait to fill their tanks. Some folks even brought portable gas tanks to fill. One woman told us it's taken her an hour to reach the pump.
I don't think it's going to be as serious, but we still have to take precaution. I just didn't expect to see this much activity.
I spoke with Palm Beach County Mayor David Kerner, and he told me since we're under a hurricane warning, some mobile homes within the county, they will be evacuated. In Palm Beach County, Todd Wilson, WPTV News Channel 5. Mark Stanek drove down from New Smyrna Beach to Briny Breezes to secure his boat.
I'm just going to kind of look at what I got going, and I brought some extra material to help strap her down so she don't go nowhere.
Stanek says usually he would pull his boat out of the water.
But this, I don't think it'll be that bad.
On land, Chris Nagowitz is rolling around Briny Breezes mobile home park. helping people secure their places.
We started at 7 o'clock this morning and we did about 10 places. We closed about 10 today.
He says he has 40 places to secure in such a short time frame.
The problem with this storm is there's only 2 days notification. Most have a week. So this time I'm like in a back rush.
At the moment, Palm Beach County is monitoring the storm. The county says decisions on opening shelters will depend on the impact of the storm. The city of West Palm Beach has suspended Saturday and Sunday's garbage trash pickup while asking residents to keep storm drains clean. In Boca Raton, the city has done their first level of preparations.
Tell like construction sites, look, you need to be prepared to tie things down, your construction materials. We've told people that put signs out in front of their stores, especially now with the pandemic, you got to be ready to get these things back inside as the thing approaches. We've also started doing the cleaning of the storm drains.
Back in Briny Breezes, Stanek says he's seen people all day securing their vessels.
So they're big investments, so you want to save them.
According to Florida Power and Light, they have activated their storm plan, but also their command center. Right now, they're observing the storm and trying to figure out exactly what resources they may have to bring in. In Palm Beach County, Todd Wilson, WPTV, News Channel 5.
4th of July weekend, I think the county will handle it fine.
Palm Beach County Mayor Dave Kerner and the rest of the commissioners will shut down the 40 miles of beaches within the county.
You know, there's a lot of public pushback that is loud, but the silent majority understands that we need to get through this together. The beach will be here after the weekend.
It's a move met with mixed reaction.
I think it's a good idea because since July 4th is coming, it's gonna if anybody does have it, without knowing, I feel like it's going to spread more.
I feel like closing the beaches wouldn't cause anything but separation, I guess you could say, because we're just trying to come together as friends and family.
Kerner says county leaders don't want a surge of visitors from the south where beaches are already closed, jeopardizing our public health. Right now, boat ramps will be left open. The rules for flotillas or boats linking up will be enforced.
There will be increased Florida Wildlife Commission officers on the water. All the marine units from the sheriff's office and all the local police departments, they'll be out in force, I promise you that.
He says from a COVID-19 perspective, the number of cases are not where they want in the county, but
we're starting to see a turn where, yes, the amount of aggregate cases are rising, and we expected that, but our ICU capacity, our admissions in the hospital, our general capacity in the hospital, the deaths are all declining.
But Kerner says it can be managed if we remain focused on not spreading the virus. In Palm Beach County, Todd Wilson, WPTV, News Channel 5. Well, as you can see, this is a busy scene. Just behind me here, you can see all the flashing lights of the squad cars that are on the side of the road. Crime scene techs have just shown up here. We've got bullet casings all over the place. We've got the yellow tape up, and we've got 5 people that are suffering from this shooting. This is just up from the intersection of Deerfield Place and Edgecliff Avenue west of Lake Worth Beach. Now here's what I know. Roughly around 8 o'clock, deputies responded to a shooting at Indian Pine Park in the Concept Homes development. Once they got here, they found 5 people that had been shot. All the victims who had been shot were taken to a local hospital. Now, investigators with the Palm Beach Sheriff's Department say they believe the shooters shot at the group while driving by. Right now, a motive of the shooting is unknown. What I can tell you back out here is that there's a perimeter that has been set up. Deputies are actually searching for that shooter. In Palm Beach County, Todd Wilson, WPTV News Channel 5.
This is our schedule of all of our different agencies, 16 different agencies as they pick up throughout the week. So we have a packed schedule for a Tuesday pickup. So today we're at Thursday. Today we actually do a double pack. So we're doing almost 4,000 meals today.
Chef Zach Bell says what started as emergency food relief for the COVID crisis has now turned into something much bigger at the Italian restaurant Grotto in West Palm Beach.
We're kind of have a desire to keep going and ensuring that Palm Beach County, we can play some small role in reducing the food insecurity in our county.
Since April, they've been packing meals, which allowed Bell to hire a portion of his staff back. He says they're doing around 2,000 meals a day to go out to 16 different area agencies.
So the morning team came in at 6, they do production, chilled everything down. We have a prep team that comes in the middle of the day, preps for the next day, and then our waiters became our packing team. So they come in the evening about 5 o'clock and they seal all the meals that are already chilled. They go into a box, they're kept chilled overnight. And the next morning we have a distribution team that helps the agencies get their meals that they need out to their people.
Honestly, it's amazing. We come here every day, work from 1,000 to 4,000 meals a day, and we know every day, at the end of every day, those meals are going out to families in need, communities that are struggling.
Bell says for some reason people think since Palm Beach County is in phase 1, there isn't a need for food assistance. He says don't be fooled.
So even when things go back to normal, we still aren't in a good place. So we know that this is something we need to continue to do.
In Palm Beach County, Todd Wilson, WPTV News Channel 5.
Black Lives Matter!
This large group of protesters are on the march.
George Floyd!
They want justice, and they want it now.
We need a change, not just for Delray, all over the country.
The call for change comes from the death of George Floyd in Minneapolis, Minnesota. So this group left Pompey Park and is heading just under a mile away to City Hall. They chant, they hold up signs, and they march for a cause.
No justice! No peace!
You got every culture out here. You got Asians, you got white people, you got Mexicans. Like, knowing that it's other people out here that care about us, it shows a lot.
It's not a white thing, it's not a black thing, it's not a yellow thing, it's no color, it's people.
The crowd gathers on the front lawn of City Hall. Multiple speakers are heard from, including the chief of police. He says he is hurting after seeing the video of George Floyd.
I was immediately disturbed by what I saw. It brought back memories that I really don't want to reflect back to. It brought back the 50s and 60s when dogs was being leashed on African Americans.
Chief Sims says that type of policing isn't tolerated in his department.
My officers encouraged to treat everybody with respect and dignity. I mean, that's everybody, regardless of what side of the track you live on.
What do we want, Delray? Justice!
The people here say they know the fight to end racism in this country is a long one. It's a challenge these folks are willing to take on. In Delray Beach, Todd Wilson, WPTV News Channel 5. On a daily basis, Tri-Rail has 15,000 riders. The train stops at 18 stations from Mangonia Park to Miami International Airport. In fact, in 2019, the rail system had their highest ridership ever. Now Tri-Rail's taking a proactive approach to handling coronavirus concerns.
Redoubling our efforts to disinfect our equipment, our trains, and our stations.
Stephen Abrams is the executive director of Tri-Rail. He says Tri-Rail has a train yard in Hialeah and West Palm Beach. Abrams says the cleaning will be ongoing during the day.
We'll actually send cleaning crews onto the trains during the course of the day to do touch-up work. The major cleaning and disinfecting takes place, though, in the yards.
Some passengers are also taking their own steps, some saying they appreciate Tri-Rail's effort.
Doing all right. I mean, you can only do it so much, you know?
I think it's definitely something that needs to be taken care of because everyone's at risk.
I spoke with Brightline and they told me they're increasing disinfecting their trains, adding additional hand sanitizer stations, and using disposable cleaning supplies. As for Palm Tran, they're asking riders to take steps like washing their hands and other recommendations from the Center for Disease Control and Prevention.
Hey, wait!
Jim Beloyan loves riding his bike.
It gives you peace of mind. It's, of course, physical activity, and it's fun. It's always fun.
I'm a happy camper.
Tonight, he's riding with a group called the Thursday Night Peddlers, riding on Wednesday. Yep, that's their name.
Hello, hello.
The course is pretty much the same, and who shows up seems to change from week to week. Sometimes new people come in. That always makes it fun.
The group ride was started 8 years ago by Anna Maria Winders Hunt. She's the one riding with the beige shirt and red glasses. Anna Maria says each ride, different people take charge.
And they will take us into an area maybe we haven't been to yet, which is really nice because we get to see homes we hadn't seen before.
Left turn at the stop.
Not only do they look at houses, but during the holiday season, they carol Lake Worth Beach's new residents and the community.
Not sure how that got started. It was just the right thing to do. It was the holidays, and we always decorated our bicycles.
Jim says the Thursday Night Peddlers riding on Wednesday is about having fun.
people in their homes will acknowledge us, will ding our bells. It's all a very positive thing.
It's called Roam the Road. It should have more businesses and customers looking for green. The Clematis Streetscape project is slated to maximize business and leisure in phases. Just ask the people on the side roads in real estate.
I think almost like an 80–90% reduction because nobody could pass by.
To food and drink.
It's a balance.
And fitness and martial arts.
If they're going to be really late from parking, a lot of times they'll just turn back and go home. So that's the case with a lot of martial arts gyms, is people choose these places on how close they are and how easily they can access the place.
So they're open to West Palm's Downtown Development Authority's new initiative, Roam the Road.
Every kind of promotion of the downtown is good for us.
Every downtown has a main street, but everything that happens beyond that is important too.
Roam the Road highlights the small businesses not on Clematis, participating businesses along Dixie Highway, between Clematis Street and Fern Street, and along Ivernia Street. Invite the public on Saturday to enjoy free samples and specials. Just follow the green arrows.
Really concentrate on the downtown district.
We're not thinking about money. We're thinking about service.
It's a great thing for all the businesses nearby.
Roam the Road runs from 9 to 2. For more information, just visit our website. Arthur Mondale, WPTV, News Channel 5.
I've been waiting for these streets to reopen for a while now.
After 6 months of construction, it's all smiles along one of West Palm Beach's most iconic streets.
Before, it was so crowded and the traffic was terrible, and it was just hard to maneuver around.
Now the 200 block of Clematis has a modern feel to it, with wider sidewalks for pedestrians, a curbless street design, and new landscaping.
I'm really proud to say that they did a fabulous job.
Sylvia Gildersleeve has worked at the Clematis Street newsstand the past 17 years.
$7.99 or $6.99. I believe with the road being open, it will bring in a lot more people, which is what all retail or restaurants is looking forward to.
Especially after experiencing the lull in business while the roads just out front were torn up.
Of course, a lot of people felt the hit, but you know, when you're in season, that's where you put your money away and bank it.
And it's not just those who work here banking on these changes.
Everything's kid-friendly.
Visitors are equally excited.
It's going to be great to be able to drive back through and go straight down towards like rallies and stuff like that.
From the air, it is clear where Hurricane Dorian left its mark. Flying into the aftermath of a natural disaster, a brown landscape and milky water overshadow what was a natural pristine setting. On the ground at the International Airport in Marsh Harbor where we land, a growing presence is felt. Trying to just help do the crisis management out here, provide relief to folks that are stranded out. The U.S. military running non-stop missions to deliver supplies to the hardest hit areas around the Abacos. From Blackhawks to Ospreys, the roar of rotors echoes all the way into a town that quite frankly has nothing left. And the people who are left, like Marjorie Gator, search for signs of life. She rode out the storm with her family in this Jeep.
I feel like those of us who are able to, we should stay and help to rebuild.
This is downtown Marsh Harbor, the worst of the worst. It is destroyed from one end to the other. There is no food, power, or water. Despite the desperation among some locals, officials are asking people to simply leave here in order to survive.
We never expected, for something like this to ever happen to, especially to Abaco. For most people, I mean, it's just, it's a total, completely nightmare, I should say. I keep pinching myself, thinking I'm going to wake up.
Our guide, Tony Russell, took us through a town that is dead. The infrastructure decimated. Buildings that once stood as 2 stories are now 1. Those that are left are shells of what they once were. Power lines litter the landscape, and then there are the boats. The devastation across Marsh Harbor is widespread. It's hard to pinpoint areas that were hit the worst, but this is one of them. The marina of Marsh Harbor. A hotel once stood here. It's in the water. Boats filled this marina. They are now scattered about the landscape. Some here just across the bank, some 2 to 3 miles inland. Blending into the widespread debris is the mud, a former Haitian community that was completely obliterated.
You don't know where else to go from here. It's that kind of mental effect on everyone.
It will take years for Marsh Harbor to rebuild. A place called the economic hub of the Abacos at a standstill now, replaced by a hub of activity nearby where the basic necessities of life arrive.
We have emergency shelter material, water filters, critical emergency supplies.
Each sunrise and every relief flight brings into focus the beginning of an overwhelming effort, a sign that hope is on the horizon.
Abaco is going to rebuild. These people, we have people coming from America, from all over the world who are going to help us rebuild. And I want to be here to help to do that.
The only thing harder than the wait for a generator is life without AC for this group.
I actually just moved here, just bought a house 2 weeks ago, lived in New Jersey before here, and it's my first storm. So.
Welcome to Florida.
Yay!
Some have waited all day.
Mr. Patience and Miss Patience, where are the ladies?
We're constantly getting replenished throughout the evening and throughout the day.
This man is preparing for his dog's relief.
We're about to go buy sod to put on these tarps, and we're gonna make a makeshift doggy doo-doo bed.
Now that you have your supplies, how do you ready your house? We inspected a home with Vincent Thomas from United Water Restoration Group.
You really want to get everything that's not bolted down, get it put away.
Look up in trees for dead branches or coconuts.
That's something that is going to be a very hard, fast-flying projectile.
And your pool screen. If you want to open it up to let the wind flow easier, don't cut it.
Take off this plate, get the gasket out, pull it out. You could fold this screen back, nice and safe.
Inside, make sure important documents like medical records and home insurance are handy and have plenty of water.
At least a gallon of water per person per day. Anticipate 7 days.
Baseball has always been a passion for Jennifer Wells.
The pitcher's mound is 10 feet higher than the batter's box.
Yeah.
And it used to be 15 feet higher.
She grew up in Cleveland.
I was the biggest Indians fan.
In 1966, she was riding her bike to an Indians-White Sox game. She earned the tickets like she had before after acing her report card and writing to the local paper. She never made it.
I don't remember anything about the day.
She was hit by a train, her body broken, her spirit strong. Last year, she showed up with her original tickets from '66.
Old tickets? And I said, yeah. And he said, go to the box office.
The Indians honored them.
There's so many Cleveland Indian fans there.
The story gets even better.
I joined Fit Body Boot Camp just so that I could get ready for this day.
Here she is, catching a game with her husband like she does every week at Roger Dean Stadium in Jupiter.
He says, yes, dear.
I say that a lot.
On Wednesday, she'll be back in Cleveland for Indians-Red Sox, this time on the pitcher's mound.
Nobody takes old tickets and, sees a baseball game and throws out the pitch.
Cheering her first pitch on, more than 30 family and friends. She reminds us what an old friend recently told her.
That's the best use of old tickets he's ever seen. And I thought, boy, that's right.
In Jupiter, Andrew Lafome, WPTV, News Channel 5.
1, 2, 3, cheers.
12-year-old Dylan and his mother, Christine,
pay $1 to get out of the jail here.
Spend a lot of time together learning, whether it's through a game.
He's excited to learn. He wants to learn.
Or homeschooling, which Christine has been doing for several years, while also enrolling him in enrichment classes at private schools.
What I really feel like he needs and kids on the spectrum need is to learn social skills and life skills.
But most of the programs over the years fell short of what she feels Dylan needs.
frustration.
So she decided to roll the dice and take matters into her own hands.
I'm a doer. I'm not one to sit around and wait for people to do something.
Getting the state approval to start her own school for special needs students, calling it the Exceptional Academy for Differently Abled Learners.
I've been wanting to do this for a really long time. This has kind of been like when you feel like there's, something that you're meant to do.
She wants to give up to 15 students in 1st to 6th grade a more personalized education.
Individualized learning plans for each child.
While getting the whole family involved.
When my son was first diagnosed, it's really, lonely. So I want to take that, away, and I want to help people to not feel like I did when my son was first diagnosed.
Christine already getting a lot of interest to help kids like Dylan get the best chance at success.
Because these kids are exceptional, they're amazing, and you just have to get to know them and give them a chance, and they'll show you there are many gifts.
Megan McRoberts, WPTV News Channel 5.
We're in Delray Beach where they're using an old tool, but with a new strategy. In downtown Delray, they're hard to miss.
We want people to see us down here.
It's a conversation piece as much as it is a crime deterrent.
People basically look at us and want to ask us questions about the Segway, the lights and everything else.
In back alleyways, now you see it, now you don't. Outside of their battery-powered motors, they barely whisper. At first, pride got in the way of the Segway stealth mode.
In the beginning, a lot of the nighttime guys that I work with, they were making fun of it, saying, Paul Blart, you're riding a Segway. Well, they kind of took the idea and ran with it.
It's kind of a different way of policing, but it's an effective way to police.
Open-aired and three-wheeled, their top speed is 15 miles per hour. They're perfect for the nighttime problem-oriented policing unit. They look for crime as much as they listen and smell for it as it happens.
Sometimes riding these things, you can hear things going on. We'll hear like glass breaking, people talking, sometimes odors of narcotics we can smell.
A Segway patrol, with the help of ghosts, tracked down a gun a suspect threw into the bushes.
We later located the gun in the bushes, and they watched that from a distance. They were able to see and hear everything, all because they were on the Segway.
So the next time you think no one is watching, there might be a Segway waiting in the shadows. In Delray Beach, Andrew Lawfome, Fox 29 News. We got you covered. Music, as Robert Goodman would say, is how he communes with the universe. Spiritualness helped guide him through a cancer battle, a heart attack, and love.
I learned a great lesson that, you should never be afraid to ask for help. Help is that other component of love.
Fellow teachers like Dawn McKeach didn't even know Robert before he asked for donated sick time. She donated twice.
We just learn how much teachers work together and how we have to help each other out.
Without the help that I received, I would have lost everything I've ever worked for my entire life.
Robert's last day in the classroom was April 17th last year. He had enough sick days donated to him to get him to a place physically where he can return. Life in that time sped up, but also slowed down. Closer to death than he's ever been, Robert focused on making each day meaningful.
We only live now. This is our moment. This is this second right now. You and I, we're sharing our lives right now. And when you're doing that, you need to be mindful of it and be present in it to really experience what you're supposed to experience. Otherwise, what's the point?
While nervous to get back into the classroom, he realizes his students never really stopped learning from him.
Now, the kids are like trees without fruit, and we may never see the fruit that bears from these children. But I know, through this experience about how many have reached out to me, that there's a lot of fruit out there that's doing some good things.
They didn't deserve this. They have children, they have families. They didn't deserve none of this.
Dozens of people stopping by this growing Memorial Friday, closing out a week that devastated the Sebring community and the country. Friends of Jessica Montague.
We will miss her. Her smile on this picture is a smile she gives to us in the community every day at the bank. You will never see this smile again. The hard thing is she's gone.
And Marisol Lopez.
Marisol, she was so
The way she spoke to you is like she was family to you.
Nellie Gonzalez, among the people who did their banking at the SunTrust branch, she works at the hotel right next door. Too close for comfort.
End of the day, it could have been us too. It was just a matter of a right or left. And he took a right.
Were you working Wednesday?
Yeah, we were all did.
She and several co-workers walked across the street for a moment of silence at 12:36 to remember all 5 women, including Cynthia Watson, a customer, and Anna Pinion-Williams, a new employee who just moved to Sebring from Okeechobee.
They were beautiful people, beautiful people.
Gonzalez and her co-workers spending more time together tonight over dinner. Now that time together is more cherished.
We have done it before, but I think from now on we're going to do it even more. And we're even holding our kids and our family closer.
A unified message.
Don't drink and drive.
On New Year's Eve.
It's been a really bad month for us.
Florida Highway Patrol troopers hit the road to keep you safe.
Even if there was troopers with days off today, they had to come out. So everybody's working tonight.
Trooper Joanne Cantelar has worked his fair share of DUI crashes.
It's really sad, actually. We don't know it's a fatal until we get to the scene. We're seeing a lot of DUI out there. You're gonna put them in your car?
Rescuing a dog 1 minute. Stopping traffic the next. When we witness this crash during our ride-along.
We get them all the time.
Do you think any alcohol was involved?
No alcohol involved. I already spoke with both drivers.
We didn't see any alcohol-related incidents on our ride-along tonight. A sign that maybe people are starting to get the message. And hopefully after celebrations are over, troopers won't see a spike. The motto tonight.
Don't drink and drive.
It's just bragging rights. I mean, firefighters are everyone likes to, talk a big game and, say, I'm better at you than this.
A lot of work goes into a quick competition.
It's exciting for sure.
The best getting through this competition course in less than 2 minutes. Racing, upstairs carrying heavy weights and completing all of these obstacles in full bunker gear. It shows off the skills firefighters use in real life and helps them master them to benefit you.
I would say just will to push through when you're in pain. I mean, you can be on a fire scene and, you've been working for the last 30 minutes and, you find another victim in there and, you're tired, but you got to fight through it. And that's exactly what happens on this course.
This friendly competition also paying off big for St. Lucie County.
It's exciting, get to represent your hometowns.
The challenge back in the area for the first time in 5 years.
We're excited to be part of it and glad to have it back in the area.
Rick Hatcher with the Treasure Coast Sports Commission expects more than 150 competitors across the country and internationally.
We've got one from Croatia come here. We got one from Germany.
Hundreds expected to be traveling with them, and thousands are expected to come out locally, creating an expected $400,000 economic impact.
And the timing of, 9/11 being this week and having the first responders here, it was a nice fit for this area to be able to hold an event of this magnitude with these great athletes.
Hatcher already hopeful to have the competition back next year and try to host the national championship in the near future.
I'm hopeful. I haven't won an event yet, so I can't get too confident, but I'm hopeful that I'm going to win.
The Codys are desperate to find Holly, a 5-pound Chihuahua who ran away on the 4th of July without a collar.
And this is what she looks like.
Off camera, Mikey and his dad Josh are lighting fireworks. A few seconds later, Holly runs across the driveway and she's gone, terrified.
Now I see that this is a problem because they always say keep your dogs inside, but to me it was never one of those things where I even bothered. But knowing now how I feel that my little dog was so scared to seeing that, it's a problem.
It's a frantic week, even for me.
Jamie Katz is a pet detective.
I find lost pets. This is all I do.
The Codys called her for help, one of many who have recently.
I still have about 6 callbacks to make since yesterday.
Here are photos of other dogs who have disappeared after being spooked by fireworks.
Keep them safe. This is our holiday, not theirs.
Jamie and her dogs tracked Holly's scent.
Once we have a direction of travel, we see how far the scent goes in each direction so we can blow up the sign campaign. It's the sign campaign that gets us the information.
And we say, Holly, you want a cookie? And she should run really fast up the stairs. but I guess she went really far out and that she couldn't hear us.
Guess who came home about an hour after we left?
Mike, come here, you and Pete.
Somebody saw the signs. It worked.
If you hear fireworks, keep your dogs inside and safe.
In Boynton Beach, Andrew Lawfom, WPTV, News Channel 5. It's the first time 34-year-old Justin Alaneftis has been back to the beach on Hutchinson Island since the accident April 10th.
Definitely getting some anxiety from just thinking about it because I can still replay the whole being upside down in the water.
Justin says he was close to shore diving into the crashing waves, one after another. The beach under a red flag warning.
I decided to go one last time. And I dove in, and not sure if I shot over the wave or straight into the wave, but next thing I knew, I hit the, must have been the floor of the ocean real hard.
He was awake and motionless at the mercy of the water, like a shirt in a washing machine.
Very scary, like you're about to die kind of feeling.
He says his girlfriend and a fisherman he didn't know dragged him to shore. Then first responders took him, he says.
This is where they all had to carry me up.
His dad rushed up from Miami and his mom from Plantation.
Oh, it's so painful to watch him in pain, and there's nothing I can do.
Parents need to pay extra special attention. Just because there's a wave there, you don't know what's behind the wave.
Pay attention. Pay attention to the lifeguards, the warnings.
Jason said he had one surgery soon after and is preparing to have his spine fused Wednesday. He says he has what's called a burst fracture in his vertebrae.
When they pulled me up, I kept asking somebody to put my legs down, and I repeatedly kept asking, but they then told me that my legs were flat on the ground. That's when I realized I couldn't feel anything from my neck down.
In Martin County, Andrew Lawfom, WPTV News Channel 5.